Episode 12, Garage Movie Night Gone Wrong.
Saturday evening settled over Barton County with that faint hum of crickets and the smell of somebody grilling 2 streets over. At Frank's place, the garage door was rolled halfway up. A cooler already sweating against the concrete, and an old box fan worried like it was earning its keep. Frank dragged out 2 folding tables and arranged lawn chairs in crooked rows, his breath steady, his grin smug. "Boys," he declared, "tonight we turn this garage into the Barton County Cinema. Popcorn, soda, big screen. Welcome to my movie premiere." Hudson, perched on the steps with his phone, whispered into the mic. "Breaking news. Dad reinvents Hollywood. Local reviews incoming." Harry sat at his bench, sanding the corner of yet another crooked birdhouse. His hat was low, his jar was full, and his patience looked slim. "Movies in a garage," he muttered. "If a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump his ass. Still wouldn't make this Hollywood." Ricky strolled in shirtless, carrying a bag of generic brand chips under one arm and a 6-pack under the other. "Heard there's free popcorn. And free beer, if I brought it myself." "Of course you did," Frank said, not even looking up. Diane appeared in the doorway, cigarette hanging, arms folded. "Frank, you can't just drag out furniture like this. The neighbors already think this house looks like Sanford & Son. They think that because of your yard ornaments," Frank shot back. "Every ceramic animal you've bought since 1987 is out there judging traffic. They're art," Diane barked. "Then the Louvre has some competition," Frank muttered. Cheryl Ann and Marty walked in together, her with a tray of cookies, him with his guitar slung like it was glued to him. Cheryl Ann smiled nervously, brushing her hair back. "I just thought maybe cookies. You know, since it's a movie night," Frank grinned. "Perfect. You're the concession stand." Ricky swooped in, grabbing 2. Now this is cinema. Marty sat in the back row, tuning the guitar. "Might play a little soundtrack between reels." "Don't you dare," Diane snapped. Hudson's camera panned wide. Episode 12, Garage Movie Night Gone Wrong. Cast, 1 cranky grandma, 1 shirtless patriot, and 1 dad convinced he's Spielberg. Frank clapped his hands together. "All right, movie choices. What's it gonna be?" "Die Hard," Ricky shouted immediately. "It's a Christmas movie. Best action ever made." "It's October," Diane shot back. "And we're not watching Bruce Willis yell for 2 hours." Harry sipped from his jar. Lonesome Dove would settle everyone down. 4 hours. 2 tapes, no complaints. 4 hours, Ricky groaned. "We'd die before the credits roll." Cheryl Ann tried, gently. "What about The Notebook? It's sweet." Frank cut her off. "Nope, too slow." "Top Gun," Ricky shouted. "Shirts off. Jets loud." "Ricky," Frank sighed. "You're already shirtless. Sit down." Diane flicked her cigarette. Sound of music. "Wholesome. Family friendly." "Wholesome, don't sell tickets," Frank fired back. "Besides, Smokey and the Bandit has it all. Cars, beer, Sally Field." Ricky raised his can. "Finally, a leader makes a decision." Harry smirked. "Man picks Burt Reynolds over Julie Andrews. Color me shocked." Frank pointed at the wall. "Then, it's settled. Tonight, Smokey and the Bandit. Barton County Cinema is officially open." By sundown, the cinema was full. Folding chairs in rows, a borrowed projector on the workbench, and Frank fiddling with wires like he was operating on a patient. "All right," Frank said, holding the remote. "Movie of the night, Smokey and the Bandit, a classic. Burt Reynolds at his finest." Ricky raised his can. "Hell yes. Cars, beer, and mustaches. Everything a man needs." Diane groaned. "Couldn't we watch something wholesome, like The Sound of Music?" Frank smirked. "Sound of Music doesn't have car chases." "Or Sally Field," Ricky added, winking. Harry leaned back in his chair. "Movie ain't started yet, and I already regret showing up." Cheryl Ann finally piped up, voice firmer than usual. "Hey, we could at least agree not to fight before the previews." Everyone blinked. Frank raised an eyebrow. "Well, look at that." Cheryl Ann throwing elbows. Ricky clapped. "About time." Diane sniffed. "That girl's too nice for this crew." Cheryl Ann crossed her arms, surprising even herself. "Somebody has to be." Hudson zoomed in with his phone. "Character development, folks. Mark it down." The movie flickered to life against the garage, wall grainy crooked, but still magic. The neighborhood kids wandered over, sitting cross-legged on the driveway. Larson snored loudly under the front row, his jowls flapping with each breath. For 30 minutes it almost worked. Burt Reynolds smiled. Sally Field bantered. Ricky cheered at every car jump. Harry snored in rhythm with Larson. Then came the chaos. The popcorn machine overheated, filling the garage with smoke. Diane shrieked. "Frank, you're burning the house down." "It's steam," Frank hollered back, flapping a rag. "That's flavor smoke." "Flavor my ass," Diane snapped, waving her cigarette like a pointer. Meanwhile, Ricky spilled his beer, which rolled down the floor toward the power strip. "Incoming flood," Hudson narrated. Harry finally stirred. "If a frog had wings." "Not now, Papa," everyone shouted at once. The garage was smoky, damp, and smelled faintly of scorched kernels, but somehow the cinema kept limping along. Frank wiped sweat from his forehead, muttering as he adjusted the projector. "Still better than paying $12 at the multiplex," he said. Diane flicked her ash into an empty soda can, her eyes sharp. "You're lucky the electric company don't charge extra for stupidity. Frank, you'd owe half the county by now." Hudson's camera caught Diane's glare, then panned to Frank. He didn't flinch, just sat back down, cracked another beer, and stared at the crooked picture on the wall. Ricky broke the silence by shouting at the screen, "Yes, sir, that's how you jump a car." The noise and laughter kicked back up, but Diane's words stayed in the air like smoke. By the time the smoke cleared and the beer was mopped up with 3 couch cushions, the garage looked like a war zone. Cheryl Ann stood with her hands on her hips, glaring. "You people are unbelievable. Can't even sit through a movie without chaos." Even Marty stopped strumming. "She's right, y'all." Frank slumped in his chair, defeated. "Fine, let's just finish the movie." The projector flickered back, the bandit roared down the highway, and for a few precious minutes, Barton County cinema survived. It ended just as suddenly as it began. Halfway through the finale chase, the projector coughed once, sparked, and went dark. Smoke curled out the vents like a magician's trick. The wall went black. Ricky groaned. Knew. Right at the good part. The kids booed. Diane threw up her arms. "Told you this was a circus." Frank smacked a side of the projector. Nothing. He smacked it again, harder. Still, nothing. Hudson's camera caught every angle. And there it is, folks. The death of Barton County cinema. One by one, everyone packed up. The kids shuffled home. Ricky wandered off muttering about the worst intermission ever. Cheryl Ann apologized 3 times before leaving with Marty. Harry mumbled something about paying his water bill and disappeared inside. That left Frank and Diane. She lit another cigarette, squinting through the smoke. Her voice was sharp, each word like a jab. "You can play Mr. Big Shot with your garage movie nights and your whiskey songs, but it don't change the truth. You never really accomplished anything in your life." Frank froze. The words hit harder than she knew. He didn't answer, didn't fight back. He just picked up the broken projector, carried it to the bench, and set it down like a dead friend. Diane stomped back inside, leaving him in the silence. Frank sat alone in the folding chair, cooler at his feet. He reached behind the Christmas box, pulled out the whiskey, and unscrewed the cap. No dancing this time, no celebration. Just the soft hum of country radio drifting from the corner, George Jones, singing about choices and regrets. Frank leaned back, the whiskey warm in his chest, his eyes fixed on the black wall where Burt Reynolds had been smiling only an hour before. Larson waddled over, dropped heavily at his feet, and sighed. At the edge of the garage, Hudson paused. He'd come back for the phone he'd left on the bench. But before stepping inside, he heard it, his grandmother's words, sharp as knives, cutting into his dad. He froze, listening longer than he meant to. After a moment, he stepped back, deciding against walking in. The phone could wait. Quietly, he turned and slipped inside the house, leaving his dad to the silence. The garage had never felt so big or so empty. One movie, one broken projector, one man left in the dark. This was life at Frank's place.